to the imperial hospital. On the day the Empress Dowager fully recovered, the emperor marked off a massive estate at the foot of the imperial city. With a stroke of his golden pen, he named it the Surgical Emergency Department. This was the first time in the history of the Great Zhou dynasty an official institution fully detached from traditional medicine was established to handle acute surgical conditions like sword wounds, fractures, and intestinal carbuncles. And I, Lin Chui, became the Great Zhou's first fifth-rank female department head. In the second month after the emergency department was established, the Great Zhou celebrated the annual emperor's birthday. The capital was decorated with lanterns and banners. Envoys from all nations came to pay their respects. Among them was the Northern D delegation, who had been eyeing our borders covetously. At the state banquet for the emperor's birthday, the atmosphere was originally peaceful, until the Northern D envoy had his men carry a heavy black wooden coffin, swaggering right into the Hall of Supreme Harmony. The music in the hall stopped abruptly. Northern D envoy, what is the meaning of this? The civil and military officials were furious. Who gifts a coffin on the emperor's birthday? But the Northern D envoy laughed loudly, his attitude extremely arrogant. Calm your anger, Emperor of Zhou. Inside this coffin is Northern D's greatest warrior, Huyan Tai. Half a month ago, while hunting, General Huyan was pierced through the chest by a poisoned steel arrow. The arrowhead missed his heart by a hair's breadth. The envoy abruptly lifted the coffin lid. A giant man, built like an iron tower, lay inside. His face was as pale as gold paper. Half a rusty arrow shaft was stuck in his chest. He was barely breathing. The best shamans of Northern D said, if this arrow is pulled out, he will bleed to death. If not pulled out, the poison will kill him anyway. We heard the Great Zhou is vast and resourceful, and recently produced a divine doctor who can bring the dead back to life. Our great Khan has declared, if the Zhou physicians can extract this arrow and save General Huyan, the Northern D army will immediately retreat 300 miles, and we won't invade the border for 3 years. But if you cannot save him, it proves Great Zhou's medical skills are but an empty boast. Then this coffin will serve as a death knell for the Great Zhou. Within 3 days, Northern D's 300,000 iron cavalry will trample through the Jade Gate Pass. This was a naked death gamble, using the life of a dying man to blackmail the Great Zhou's border cities. The old physicians of the Imperial Hospital were called to the coffin. After taking just one look, their faces all turned ashen. They shook their heads repeatedly. The arrowhead is right against the major cardiac vessels. The surrounding flesh has rotted. Pulling it out means instant death. It is incurable. Is the majestic Great Zhou going to be forced to bow to this rogue tactic? Your Majesty, I request an edict to summon the head of the emergency department, Lin Chui, for an audience. An incense sticks time later. Carrying my black medical chest, I strode into the Hall of Supreme Harmony. I walked up to the coffin, ignoring the Northern D envoy's provocation. Left subclavian artery compression pneumothorax. The arrow's barbs are stuck on the posterior edge of the sternum. I rapidly made a diagnosis in my mind. This is extremely difficult. In an era without blood transfusion equipment and modern anesthesia machines, this surgery was on hell mode. Director Lin, can he be cured? The Emperor's voice held a trace of tension. I straightened up and took off my gloves. Extract the arrow, clean the wound, and suture it. I have a 20% chance. Ha 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 ha. A 20% chance? In other words, General Huyan is doomed to die. Emperor of Zhou, I suggest you prepare to cede land and pay reparations. I meant, if I treat him in this broken coffin, it's only 20%. Your Highness, carry him to the side hall. Move all the smokeless palace lamps here over there. And bring 20 caddies of high-proof liquor. Also, I want you personally to act as my assistant. Xiao Jing didn't utter a word of nonsense. He simply waved his hand. Inside the side hall, it was brightly lit. The temperature was baked extremely high by charcoal fires. All irrelevant personnel were driven out. It was just me, Xiao Jing, and the Northern D envoy staring fiercely at the door. If the general dies in your hands, Northern D's scimitars will. Shut up. If you dare make a sound and disturb me, also your mouth shut first. The envoy was stunned by the murderous aura in my eyes, and actually shut his mouth. I took a deep breath, and opened the black medical chest. My most precise set of scalpels, hemostats, and a rib spreader were lined up. Xiao Jing, hold his shoulders down. No matter what happens in a moment, you must not let him move an inch. Xiao Jing nodded. His hands clamped down on the giant's shoulders like iron pincers. I picked up the scalpel and sliced open the rotting flesh on his chest, enlarging the wound. Black blood instantly surged out. I blindly grabbed 2 hemostats, without the aid of X-rays, relying purely on muscle memory and feel. I probed into the bloody chest cavity, and precisely clamped the vessels above and below the arrowhead. Getting ready to pull the arrow, fine beads of sweat broke out on my forehead. Xiao Jing reached out one hand, and used a clean handkerchief, to extremely gently wipe the sweat from my forehead. Don't be afraid. I am here. My gaze focused. My right hand gripped the tail of the broken arrow. My left hand protected the surrounding blood vessels. My wrist suddenly exerted force. The barbed arrowhead was forcefully yanked out. Even though clamped by hemostats, the accumulated blood still sprayed out like a fountain, splattering directly onto me and Xiao Jing. Hu Yantai let out an inhuman roar. His body convulsed violently. Hold him down. The veins bulged on Xiao Jing's arms. He pressed the giant down firmly. My hands were quick and steady. The curved needle in my hand moved like a fluttering butterfly. Every movement was a race against the Grim Reaper. As time ticked by, when the final catgut thread was securely knotted, I snipped the thread. Due to extreme mental tension, I almost collapsed from exhaustion. Xiao Jing was quick to react. He grabbed me by the waist, pulling me into his broad embrace. I was panting heavily, looking at Hu Yantai, whose breathing was gradually steadying on the bed. I turned to look at the door. The Northern D envoy was utterly dumbfounded. I pulled off my blood-soaked gloves. The arrow is out. The poison is cleared. The man is not dead. Go back and tell your Great Khan. The cities of the Great Zhou. You won't take a single inch of them. The borders of the Great Zhou. You'd best withdraw from them completely. Otherwise, the next time this blade cuts open, it won't be a chest to save a life, but your throats. He looked at me, covered in blood, standing tall and proud, as if he saw a true god, and Xiao Jing, standing behind me. The way he looked at me was no longer just appreciation and admiration. It was a kind of camaraderie for a brother in arms fighting side by side, and toward the Great Zhou's nation-protecting blade, an ultimate fanaticism and submission. By the time Hu Yantai woke up, it was already dawn the next day. This greatest warrior of Northern D touched his chest, wrapped in thick bandages, and looked at the poisoned arrow beside the bed, still bearing bits of flesh. His eyes were filled with lingering fear of death, as well as deep awe towards me. The Northern D envoy didn't dare say a single word. He led his men away from the capital in disgrace. Before leaving, they signed a state credential. The Northern D army would retreat 300 miles, and absolutely not invade for 10 years. The emperor was immensely pleased. In the Hall of Supreme Harmony, in front of all the civil and military officials, he laughed loudly. What a woman, Lin Chuyi. What a nation-protecting divine blade of the Great Zhou. Pass down my edict. The Surgical Emergency Department is officially established. Lin Chuyi is promoted to head director of the 3rd rank. Bestow upon her an imperial gold medallion. Not only will she manage acute cases of the capital's nobles, but she will also oversee the field medics of all Great Zhou's armies. I knelt before the throne, and accepted the heavy gold medallion with both hands. My father, Lin Pei, among the civil officials, had a beard that was almost pointing to the sky. He told everyone he met, "Did you see that? That's my daughter. The daughter who can dig out hearts and lungs barehanded." From that day on, the atmosphere in the capital completely changed. The threshold of the emergency department was worn down every day by nobles and officials. At first, everyone still feared me, feared my reputation for cutting people open. But when the son of the Minister of War, who had broken his leg, was put in a cast by me, and was able to walk with crutches after half a month, and when the Vice Minister of Rights had his throat pierced by a fishbone, and I used forceps to forcefully pull it out and save his life, the nobles realized praying to immortals and asking for medicine was useless. The knife in Director Lin's hand was the real life-saving talisman. I was busy off my feet every day, but in my exclusive VIP consultation room, there was one person who came even more frequently than the most critically ill patients. Director Lin. I didn't even look up. I continued looking down, sterilizing my scalpels in strong liquor. Ninth Prince. What have you broken today? Xiao Jing swaggered in, and naturally sat down in the chair opposite me. The dignified commander of the Jinyui, the terrifying living Yama, now rolled up his sleeve with extreme grievance. While practicing my swordsmanship, I accidentally scratched myself. It's bleeding. It hurts a lot. I rolled my eyes, leaned over to take a look. A scratch about half an inch long. Even the traces of blood had completely coagulated. The red mark was almost gone. Xiao Jing, if you had come even half an hour later, this wound would have healed itself. It wouldn't even leave a scar. Is that so? But I felt that. Only if Director Lin personally bandages it. Will it not be infected by evil energy? I sighed. Ever since the Northern D envoy incident, this cold-faced prince seemed to have contracted a terminal illness, where he would die if he didn't see Lin Chuyi. If he wasn't complaining of chest tightness, he was saying his qi